Hey, I'm Bobby, 68 years old, and life's been a slow bleed since I lost the ones who mattered most. Martha, my wife, slipped away to cancer in 2019, $340,000 in bills later, and I'm still rattling around our empty Riverside house, talking to her yellow apron like she's brewing coffee. Then there's Danny, my boy, gone at 23 in Afghanistan back in 2010. His room's a shrine, trophies gathering dust, bed still made with military precision. Every morning I set out 2 mugs, pretending he's just late for breakfast. That ache? It's a weight I carry, a reason I volunteer at the animal shelter twice a week, just to feel something besides grief. When I spotted that blindfolded German Shepherd on the 405, ribs poking through matted fur, I felt it again, a pull to save someone like I couldn't save them. This dog's fight became mine. I couldn't shake the image of that German Shepherd standing guard over that beat-up suitcase on the 405's shoulder. The California sun was brutal, turning the asphalt into a frying pan. And there he was, blindfolded with duct tape, ribs jutting out like he'd been starved for weeks. His paws bled, leaving dark splotches on the ground, but he didn't flinch as cars whizzed by at 70 miles an hour. That suitcase, cracked leather, held together with more tape, had a note fluttering on it. "Free dog, too loud." My hand shook as I pulled over in my old Ford Ranger, not from age, but from a gut feeling this was more than abandonment. I approached slow, voice low. "Hey, soldier. Rough morning, huh?" He tensed but didn't growl, just stood rigid, guarding that box like it held gold. No tags, no collar, just scars and a stance that screamed training. Someone had taught this dog purpose, then stripped it away, leaving him with this last duty. I peeled the tape from his eyes, 3 layers, cruel and deliberate, and those brown eyes, clouded with pain, flicked to me before dropping. He wouldn't drink the water I offered, wouldn't budge from the suitcase. What was in there? At the Riverside Animal Shelter, Dr. Marcus Webb scanned him and found a microchip tied to a Derek Morrison in Pasadena, foreclosed 6 months ago, phone disconnected. The suitcase stayed glued to Max's side as we coaxed him inside. I unzipped it carefully, his muscles coiling like he'd snap. Inside, a jumble of clues, crayon drawings of a girl and a dog, a USB drive in plastic, a sealed envelope marked "Please read," worn toys, a pink butterfly hair clip, and a leather collar with brass fittings tucked in a side pocket. The drawings hit hardest. Me and Max. Max is the best dog. Max protects me. One showed him shielding the girl from a scribbled monster. My chest tightened. Who was this girl? Why was Max so tied to this junk? The USB burned in my pocket, evidence maybe of why he'd been dumped. Marcus estimated $3,000 in vet bills for dehydration, malnutrition, and old injuries, but I couldn't focus on that. My mind raced. Was Max stolen? Abused? The way he flinched at movement, the scars peppering his muzzle, it was a story written in pain. That envelope sat unopened, taunting me. Did it hold the key? Back at the shelter the next day, Max hadn't eaten or drunk, just lay curled around the suitcase. Jessica, the intake coordinator, shook her head. He's waiting for something, or someone. I stared at those drawings again. The girl's stick figures, the monster. Was it Derek? Had Max been protecting her from something dark? The USB's secrets loomed large, and I knew I had to crack it. But part of me dreaded what I'd find. Was this dog's loyalty tied to a tragedy? As I sat beside him, his paw resting on the suitcase, I whispered, "What are you hiding, boy?" The answer, I feared, would change everything. I'm no hero, trust me. I'm Bobby Sullivan, 68, a Vietnam vet with shaky hands and a heart that's been patched together more times than my old Ford Ranger. My knees creak like an unoiled gate, and my wallet's thinner than the VA check I stretch to cover a mortgage I can't afford. Losing Martha to cancer in 2019 left me talking to her apron every morning, pouring 2 coffees when one's all I drink. Danny, my son, gone at 23 in Afghanistan. His room's a time capsule I can't touch. I'm flawed, broken, and some days I wonder if I'm just waiting to join them. but volunteering at the Riverside Animal Shelter twice a week keeps me moving. Pills swallowed, hands steadied. Because grief's a quiet killer if you let it sit. Then there's Max, that blindfolded German Shepherd I found on the 405. His scars and silence mirrored mine, and I couldn't walk away. At the shelter, I sat with him, that suitcase his lifeline, and felt a pull I hadn't in years. My rage at whoever taped his eyes shut fueled me, but my body betrayed me, knees screaming as I crouched, heart fluttering from more than just anger. I'm not strong like I was, but I had to try. The vet bills, $3,000 minimum, loomed over my $1,800 savings, and I knew I'd figure it out, even if it meant more debt. My health? A mess, $200 a month for meds. But what's a broken heart compared to a dog's life? Enter Lily Thompson, a wisp of a girl, maybe 7, with eyes older than mine. Her parents, Sarah and James, brought her to the shelter looking for a therapy dog. She hadn't spoken in 2 years, not since her first mom died, Jessica whispered. Lily moved like she was dodging landmines, her braids neat, clothes pressed, but her silence screamed louder than words. I saw myself in her, locked up tight, afraid to feel. When she spotted Max, something shifted. She slipped through the kennel gate, sat cross-legged 3 feet away, and started drawing. No words, just crayons scratching paper, Max watching her like she held his world. I'm no kid person, never was. But Lily's quiet broke me. She didn't pet him, didn't push, just drew while Max's guard softened, his damaged ear perking up. Her parents hovered, tense, but I muttered, "Wait," feeling her pain in my bones. When Max laid his head on her knee, gentle as a breeze, I held my breath. Lily's hand trembled over his ear, then touched it, first the good one, then the scarred one. Max sighed, a sound so human it choked me. Then, a miracle. A hum, 3 wavering notes, the first sound she'd made in years. Sarah gasped, James whispered, "My God." But I knew. Lily's silence wasn't weakness, it was strength waiting to break free. I'm flawed, gruff, stubborn, haunted. But Lily's quiet resilience mirrored my fight. My hands shook, peeling tape from Max's eyes. My hips protested sitting on that hot asphalt, yet I kept going. Lily's silence broke with that hum, and I felt my own walls crack. She drew Max, guarding her from a monster, and I wondered if her silence hid a story like mine. Loss, fear, survival. Her parents' exhaustion, her careful steps, they were human, flawed like me, clinging to hope. When Derek Morrison's name surfaced on Max's microchip, my gut twisted. I'd seen men like him in war, cruel, broken. Lily's hum, my shaky resolve. We were 2 sides of the same coin, flawed but fighting. That day, as Lily sketched and Max leaned into her, I saw us both. Damaged, yes, but capable of saving each other. My grief for Martha and Danny drove me to Max. Lily's silence drew her to him. We're not perfect. My temper flares, her words still hide. But together, with Max, we're real. The suitcase's secrets loomed, but it was our flaws. My stubbornness, her quiet courage that would unravel them. I looked at her drawing, then at Max, and thought, maybe we're enough. The scene on the 405 still burns in my mind like a movie I can't unsee. That German Shepherd, Max, stood rigid on the highway's shoulder, blindfolded with silver duct tape wrapped 3 times around his head. His ribs poked through matted fur, a skeletal frame against the shimmering asphalt while blood dripped from his paws, pooling in dark, jagged streaks. Beside him, that weathered brown suitcase, cracked leather patched with more tape, sat like a silent sentinel. The note, "Free dog," too loud, fluttered in the hot breeze, a cruel taunt against the roar of cars whizzing by at 70 miles an hour. The California sun beat down, turning the road into a skillet, and Max didn't flinch, just guarded that box with a loyalty that broke my heart. I pulled over, hands trembling, and snapped a photo with my shaky phone. His silhouette against the traffic, an image so raw it could go viral. At the Riverside Animal Shelter, the visual shifted but stayed haunting. Max lay curled around the suitcase in the isolation ward, his scarred muzzle resting on its worn edge, eyes half closed but alert. The room was stark, concrete floors, chain-link barriers, but his presence turned it into a stage. I unzipped the suitcase, revealing a treasure trove. Crayon drawings of a girl and Max, stick figures with "Max protects me" scrawled in wobbly letters, a USB drive glinting in plastic, and a pink butterfly hair clip catching the light. One drawing showed Max shielding the girl from a scribbled monster, its black mass looming like a shadow. I laid them out, the colors popping against the gray floor, and felt the weight of their story. Shareable moments that could tug at anyone's heartstrings. Then came Lily. That tiny girl, all braids and silence, slipped into Max's kennel like a ghost. She sat cross-legged, 3 feet away, her sketch pad balanced on her knees as she drew with slow, deliberate strokes. The pencil scratched, capturing Max's scarred form, his damaged ear drooping, the suitcase as his anchor. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting a golden halo around them, a picture-perfect shot for any camera. Max's head lifted, his brown eyes locking with hers, and he took shaky steps toward her, laying his head on her knee. Her hand hovered, then gently touched his ear, the good one first, then the scarred one. The hum she let out, 3 wavering notes, hung in the air, a sound so pure it felt like a melody you'd replay. Someone snapped a photo. Lily's small hand on Max's head, the suitcase beside them, a moment of trust that could melt the internet. Later at my house, we plugged the USB into Danny's old desktop. The screen glowed with photos, Rosie and Max in better days, her dark curls bouncing, him whole and proud, then fading to hospital beds and shaved heads. The last image, Rosie smiling weakly with Max at her side, had "My best friend forever" scribbled below. We watched a video, Rosie teaching Max to dance, spinning in a sunny yard. Then another, hidden and shaky, showing Derek's boots and Max taking hits. The contrast was stark, a visual punch that left us silent. Lily, clutching her pad, sketched Max in the suitcase again, adding angel wings to a stick figure. Rosie, I guessed, her crayons blending hope and sorrow. Back at the shelter, chaos erupted when Derek showed up drunk, demanding Max. Lily ran to the kennel, pressing her hands against the glass as Max howled, a sound that echoed off the walls. The officers, the flashing lights, the suitcase abandoned across the room. It was a scene straight out of a drama, ripe for shares. When we moved Max to the vet hospital, he pressed his nose through the bars as Lily reached back, their connection a visual of resilience. Those moments, Max guarding the suitcase, Lily's drawings, the hum in the kennel, they're etched in my mind, shareable snapshots of a story begging to be seen. After weeks of fighting, courtrooms, vet bills, and tears, Max is finally home with Lily and me. The truth from Rosie's USB and collar recorder landed Derek in prison, and the Thompsons' guest house feels alive again, filled with laughter, Max's barks, and Lily's endless drawings. My hands still shake, but the medical boards reinstated my license, consulting pediatric cases, mentoring young docs. Martha's aprons packed away, not forgotten, just making room for new memories. Last night, Max slept with his head on my knee, tail thumping once like he knew we'd won. Lily hummed Martha's hymn, and I felt whole for the first time in years. This journey started with a blindfolded dog and a suitcase, proof that love can rewrite even the darkest stories. Have you ever found unexpected purpose after loss? What small moment turned your life around? Share your story below. Your words might inspire someone today. Like, share, and let's keep this hope alive.